Greetings, Matt comrades. It is your humble DM, Mike Gergoni here, to let you know that we here at Material Components are now part of the Punch Up Entertainment Network. Punch Up is proud to present such podcasts as Panel Up, The Action Shelf, and the very podcast you're listening to right now. And of course, the best way to support all of these shows is by going to patron.podbean.com/punchup and becoming a patron today. When you do, you'll get access to all sorts of bonus content, including a brand new one-shot from the folks here at Material Components, in which our heroes attempt to solve a murder in the urban fantasy streets beyond the Veil. If you ever wanted to hear Michael Listman playing as Detective Sasquatch, now's your chance. Once again, that's patron.podbean.com/punchup. Thanks for all the support, and now, let's get you into this week's episode. Material Components, Season 2, Episode 73, Political Investments. Greetings and welcome to Material Components, the actual play RPG show all about a galaxy of magic and the adventurers who live there, now on the Punch Up Entertainment Network. I am your humble dragon master, Mike Gergoni, and joining me, as always, are my stalwart adventurers. Hey adventurers, thanks for being here.
You are welcome.
Aw, heck yeah.
Hey.
You're welcome, Mike.
Hey, everybody. That was so mild-mannered.
Are you surprised?
A little.
Huh.
Hey, everybody. I'm Olivia, and I'm playing Florian of Akalar.
I'm Elliot, and I am playing Shay, the wizard school dropout.
I am Michael, and I'm playing Oswald Octavian Theophilus III.
And I'm Reed, and I'll be playing Amari.
Indeed. And of course, before we begin today's session, I have to ask the same question I ask every time, and that is, Reed, do you remember what happened last time?
I do. I do remember what happened last time. It was a fun downtime session. Everyone had some fun little scenes going on, having some interesting narrative ramifications for the lot of us. Myself, I spent time, Amari spent time with his wife, Layla Ra Rakasa, a newly appointed matriarch of the hegemony. Took her out for dinner, or I guess maybe she took me out for dinner, given how important she is. They had a conversation that started off not on the best grounds. Looked a lot like maybe some papers would have been served at some point. But switched that around a little bit. I think that meal ended with people feeling fairly happy with the conversation that had happened. And
that would not have ended in divorce. That would have ended as Amari trophy husband, just to be clear.
Oh, thank God. Okay. So it was nowhere near as bad as I was anticipating. Okay. Okay, we can relax. We can all go home now. Cool. Great.
Is it a participation trophy husband, or?
Well, absolutely not, based on this whole campaign.
Yeah,
fair enough.
It is a plastic trophy. It is not metal.
Yes.
Let's see. What else happened? Oswald had a fun interaction with Mara following the conversation that Oswald had with the spooky Empire entity that works for the archive. Oswald requested Mara's assistance in severing that connection, and in doing so, effectively died a little bit, made a copy of himself. You know, it's fine. It's fine. It's totally fine. It's the same Oswald. Don't worry about it. If you think about it too much, he prestiged himself.
Don't think too hard about the ship of Theseus when it comes to your own body. That's all I'm saying.
Always good advice.
Oof.
But now, hopefully, the archive won't be able to essentially spy or monitor Oswald's activities without him knowing it. Let's see. Oh, yeah. And then Shay finally went on their date with Paladin Rolly. That was fun and cute. And a better date than mine. Not comparing, probably. But it's, probably. But the biggest thing that Shay did was try to not suss out, but bring out the hacker Ariel, and in doing so, they attempted to hack a seminar that was about Noku, which didn't have any participants that were from Noku or Arini at all. Very much a people speaking on stuff that they really don't have any business speaking on. And
so academia.
Yeah, exactly. Academia. But on a galactic level, so even worse.
I don't know if lure out is the right term. Shay was definitely attempting to get the attention of the legendary hacker known as Ariel.
And they did it the best way they knew how.
Yeah.
With
Because
fart
Ariel
sounds.
was the hacker that got into our ship while our anti-phase systems were down. Having been
This is
turned
true.
off by Florian.
Florian
But
didn't
are we
know
Shay
dead?
did
either.
successfully
No,
do that.
You're welcome.
How narratively interesting. But yeah, Shay going by the name, I almost said gamer tag because I've been playing too much Xbox lately. The handle Foxy Proxy was able to get the attention of Ariel, whose a little logo is a little windmill, and now Shay has also gained some repute amongst the red cap, I think we're calling it, right? Community, the divers, the hackers of the Dragon's Wake Galaxy.
Those individuals who tend to dress in leather and know the significance of the word swordfish.
And then the last scene that we had was with Florian having a conversation with Kala. Kala, who has been locked away in their quarters for days, weeks at this point.
Not quite weeks.
Not quite.
Edging in on a week.
Okay. Previously, Amari had a conversation with Kala, and Kala is losing sort of grips on what is reality, given our interactions with certain entities like the Archproctor that can make you see things without being in the metanet. So, Florian had a conversation with Kala and was able to get them out of their room, a sort of cocoon that they have built for themselves to shelter themselves from any sort of potential harm or, intrusions upon them.
She's doing.
Yes,
she's doing
indeed.
a little bit better.
Yeah.
She is learning to interact with the world again with the understanding that one must accept a consensus reality at some point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully. Otherwise, you're in for a rough ride, which she seems to have already hit the first few turns on.
Yeah. She was looking for
But-
Nox secret sequences and certain things that probably aren't going to help her.
Maybe. But leastways, Florian was able to get Kala a little bit out of her shell and manage to at least get some food in her, which is a good first step in any situation in my experience. Start with getting a little bit of food in you. But yes, that was our downtime sessions. Over the course of 3-ish, 2.5 days between the 24th and the 26th of Hirnal. I do want to correct my pronunciation on that month, just to keep my own notes consistent, that the 7th month of the year is called Hirnal. An R and an N right next to each other look a lot like an M, it turns out.
Yeah. Especially if you have bad handwriting like me.
Or me. This is why I type things. The serifed font Times New Roman has never let me down. But leastways, we now find ourselves on the 27th of Hirnal. It is the day after your big date with Paladin Rolly, Shay. I don't want to get into any graphic detail, but how well did that night go?
We'll leave that up to the fanfic writers, which there are.
All right. There's one, and I'm asking them right now.
I definitely don't go on Archive of Our Own like every few weeks and check other media like material components. Damn it.
One day, I'm sure.
One day.
Elliot, be the change you wish to see in the world.
Know, but I'm not good at it. Anyway, I think it went well.
You will never read my fanfiction.
Aren't we playing your fan fiction?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yes,
like,
I mean,
yeah, we're doing that.
Sure, let's go with that.
So I do think it went well. I did text Olivia after last session, just to add some flavor to the bit where the rocky bit, while we were playing Space Pool, and Rolly pushed a little too far with the questions. I had said to Olivia that up until that point, Shay was playing like kind of bad on purpose, just to be cute. But then at that point, just absolutely embarrassed him at pool.
Awesome. I guess the big question I have is, where does Shay wake up the next morning?
Definitely either wherever Rolly is staying, or if they just got like a, cheapy love hotel room or whatever. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what his deal is.
That's absolutely fair. It would have been a very nice hotel room.
Okay.
He's on a paladin's salary. They get paid pretty well to be sworn bodyguards to the muckety mucks of any given planet they're on.
Fair enough.
So there was room service, I'll put it that way. And you were told not to worry about the bill.
The best 5 words in language.
You wake up, though, alone.
Nuts. Ain't that just the way?
There is a small card left near the bathroom sink with some kind of blocky handwriting. Seems very efficient, but not stylized. Of order whatever you want for breakfast.
Nice.
Checkouts at noon. But there is no other sign of Paladin Rolly the following morning.
Yeah, fair enough.
What there is a continuingly growing pile of messages that you're not necessarily... I'm assuming you probably turned off notifications at a certain point, or else it would have interrupted the date quite frequently.
Yeah.
You are getting a wave of... friend requests is maybe not the right word, but attempts at hacking into your personal data that is the red cap equivalent of a hello. It is a lot of people, because Ariel has seen you and has acknowledged you as at least a peer of some sort, that has put you on the radar of a lot of other divers. And a lot of them are seeing how good you are. I need you to give me a hacking roll right now to let me know how good your personal metanet security is.
Okie dokie. This does feel like something I would have to do quite cleverly in order to get it done.
And I'll say, this is something that you would have probably have set up well beforehand. This isn't something you're actively doing right now.
Yeah.
So you can spend any amount of personal aether that up to your pool maximum here, but you cannot go all in.
Okay, that's fair. Now, as per usual, I don't have any personal aether.
But let us assume you did at one point.
Okay. Because I don't think I've spent a single downtime session re-upping my aether, regaining my aether pool.
Yeah. As the DM, I've appreciated that fact.
That's why I took Aether Leech, but now I can't even do that.
No one said you can't do that.
Yeah. Wait, are we not doing that
Oh
anymore?
my god, Florian. 19.
Okay. There are some divers that are getting access to your personal information.
Yes. I've gotten complacent.
So as you're catching back up with your personal messages and figuring out exactly what it is you've stumbled into now, there is a mild amount of panic that fills you, knowing that there are people out in the metanet now that have your personal information. What they're doing with it, you don't know. You don't really have funds to speak of, so unlike some, like, rube with a job who could have bank accounts that could be cleared out, or somebody who owns a ship whose name could get taken off the title, or something like that. Truly heinous shit that redcaps do to people out in the galaxy. You don't really have that to worry about, so that's nice.
Yeah, just the clothes on my back.
But
and all the stuff in my closet.
there are people out there now that have the information on you and your history, and might be able to put together facts about you that you've been trying to keep pretty close to the vest.
Yeah. Now, on the one hand, that is, don't love that. I haven't, on the other hand, like, maybe, but I haven't, like, gone by my wizard name in a really long time. Well, not wizard name, but, like, my family name or whatever. Like, I built, like, all of the stuff I think that people would have access to is stuff that I built when I left.
Yes, that is something you are thinking and you're hoping for.
Okay,
yes.
okay. But on the other hand, because I also have, like, a bounty on my head from, like, a corporation, maybe I'll get, like, some street cred.
And so that brings us to the second strata of messages that you've been receiving. You have some fans now.
Oh, yes. I'm gonna weaponize my fan base. I've always wanted this.
There are offers in your inbox to participate in some shenanigans, let's say. And those shenanigans range from heinous to might be considered heroic in the right lens.
Yes.
Some of them appear asinine in nature. Some of them might not even be serious in nature. It's tough to filter. There's a lot of messages. You have hundreds of new messages. This would be like if some huge Twitter personality suddenly called you out and said, yeah, this person's rad. Just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So there are people looking to leverage your newfound fame by suddenly associating with you. There are people looking to actively add you into the participation of their own events, trying to make their events seem bigger by advertising an association with you in some way. And there are people who are looking to destroy you because you're a known quantity.
Oh yeah, I was literally about to say, so, like, there are probably also obviously people who are like, you're the devil incarnate for doing this. You should be killed publicly for doing this.
There are even some Ariel fans who are like, how dare you intrude upon one of his works?
Me typing, he's never gonna fuck you.
So that is the reality you're waking up to on the 27th. Meanwhile, Amari, where are you waking up?
That is an excellent question. How good did my night go in the sense of, like, how did that end? Like,
I'm leaving that up to you, my friend.
Okay. Oh man, I'm making the hard choices here. I would assume that things probably ended on, like, a good note, not the same way as Shay's night. I don't think Amari gets to show back up and talk to his wife for 3 days and then suddenly gets to, like, sleep in the same place as her. So
Okay,
Amari would have gone back to the ship.
Okay. In that case, you wake up to a notification from not your wife, but a notification from something called the Office of Pride Rakasa.
Guess I'll check that out.
It is a short notification letting you know that one of the prisoners that was taken a couple of days ago is dead.
Shocker. Is that shocking, Mike? I feel like that wouldn't be that shocking.
Which one?
The one that seemed to sustain a massive etheric shock to their system has subsequently died.
I wonder what from.
What a mystery.
Investigations where that is concerned is ongoing. There is a request for Amari, and this is what the official request says, Amari and whatever retainers he chooses to bring to help in the interrogation of the remaining prisoner later today.
Okay. Excellent.
Or to be present for the interrogation,
okay.
I should say. So that is going to happen later in the afternoon.
Perfect.
Kind of, post-lunch, pre-dinner interrogation.
That's the best time to do it. That's the best time. You got to work off that lunch, but you got to make sure that you don't fall asleep before dinner. So, yeah.
Oswald, you wake up shockingly refreshed. Like, you feel really good. Like, weirdly good. You don't know if it's the lack of any kind of dream. You've definitely slept a quiet, dreamless sleep. You don't know if it was the comforting presence of Mara that has since disconnected herself from the back of your mind, so you can't feel her anymore. But also, there seems to be this just weight that isn't there anymore. You didn't even know it was there until it's gone, but there's just this itching presence that was in the back of your mind that's just not there anymore.
Oh, well, not as hungover as I thought I would be. Excellent.
And the fact that your first thought is that and not I need a 12 loco kind of takes you by surprise when you realize that's what happened.
Oh, interesting. Well, I suppose I should let everybody know. This is going to be an uncomfortable conversation. And I'd like to make an announcement over the PA system.
Okay. Everyone is here for that except for Shay at the moment.
All right. Attention, crew of the Tiresian.
Florian, you're woken up by this.
Please gather in the bridge for an important announcement. Thank you. This is Oswald. Good day. No, see you soon. Bye.
What the fuck? Have you never made an announcement before? No, you probably have, and they've probably all sounded like this.
Yes.
Usually they get cut off, but that's what happens if he's allowed to keep talking.
Yeah, I'll go, but I'm in my jammies.
Okay.
What do Florian's jammies look like?
Are they long johns? They might be long johns.
I like that image.
Is there a butt flap?
Where the tail comes out.
Yeah, there's like a little tail pocket. Yeah, but like for aesthetic, it's a fake one.
Oh, so it's just like a
Like for
line of
fashion.
fabric and buttons.
Mhm.
Got it.
Excellent.
Because this is
Like pockets in women's pants.
Yeah, because this is a dystopia
Is there
that we live in.
is there a horseshoe fabric pattern to them, or maybe like a lasso and a tumbleweed, or this is what I'm picturing. Excellent. So yeah, if everybody
shows up except for Shay,
well, that's okay.
who I'm assuming is luxuriating in a hotel.
Oh yeah, I'm laying on the bed. I'm eating like fucking strawberries and cream and shit, and like trolling people on my messages.
Excellent.
I'm wearing one of the fluffy bathrobes.
And as everybody gathers and sits down, Oswald begins. You see he's holding the piece of paper that Amari had left. He seemed to have found it and scribbled something on it, and is now reading from it. It is with a heavy heart that I gather you all here today. As of this morning, I, Oswald, Octavian, Theophilus the Third, am no longer an archivist for the organization known as the Archive. Hold. Yes, you're shocked. I can see that. You're upset. I understand.
Vesnus will go, oh no.
Yes, I know this is difficult for all of you, as it is for me to say, but I have come to the realization that the Archive and I have different goals. I wanted to work for a journalistic organization that spreads knowledge and enlightenment to all citizens of the Dragon's Wake galaxy, illuminating dark secrets and helping teach those who wish to learn. And the Archive, well, they prefer to be a secret arm of the Canis Empire. And he flips over the page.
Kala will say, okay, that was shocking.
I'm getting to that. Also, they've been spying on us through my eyes, but that's been dealt with. Anyways, now that we're over, do we have any questions?
Back on their heels.
The Florian has been like head in hands on the table, and then he perks up when Oswald says the thing about the Canis Empire, and then he's just like back to face in hands and they've been spying on us.
All right, I will accept any questions you may have for me.
Vesnus, whose eyes are just fixed on you like amber laser sights, will slowly raise one of her hands.
Yes, Vesnus.
I think I speak for all of us when I say, the fuck.
Right, that was my reaction when I found out. I reviewed the clause of the terms of use for this installation upon my cranium, and there's nothing within the fine print about taking control of my body and using it for whatever purposes they wished. So it was as much of a surprise to me as anybody else.
Kala will just like raise her hands and make the timeout symbol and say, I'm sorry, they did what now?
Yes, well, it turns out for a certain amount of time, I'm not sure, still looking into it, the Archive, well, a specific member of the Archive, the head of the Archive, I believe chief editor was what he went by, was piloting my body like a meat puppet.
Wait, when was this?
Oh, just periodically here and there. I don't know. I don't actually remember any of it.
How many times?
I just said I don't know. I don't remember.
And, like, do you know what information they have and have been passing on?
What I was able to...
Presumably everything.
Well, what I was able to confirm is that they have no knowledge of Mera or our possession of Mera, which is great. That's good, right? Right? Guys, please, just give me something. But what they do know is that Florian has a certain affliction that, well, frankly, I'm just happy to see that Florian is here and present and the right color. How are you feeling, by the way?
I feel fine. I'm annoyed and confused and very sleepy.
That sounds like the real Florian. Excellent.
So
Okay.
And Kala's wide eyes as she just like sits back, and when you say that sounds like the real Florian.
Oh.
Yes, so,
Florian, Florian, like, goes to, like, maybe just tap her on the, and then just, like, oh, God.
So I suppose this brings up maybe the most pertinent aspect of this meeting, because up until this point, I was very much, my identity was associated with the Archive. So you're all wondering, well, what will you do now? Unfortunately, I do not know yet. I have no purpose.
That is not what I was wondering.
I have no drive. I have no direction. I have nothing. Except all of you, which is something. So that's good.
Oh, buddy.
So if any of you think of something that I can do that would be really impressive, that I can, like, get knocked out in a couple of, turn spans, that would be great. Like really impressive. Like, something that would be theoretically, a game changer in the Dragons. Something to... You know what? I'll come back to that. But sorry, was there any more questions that you had for me, or maybe some suggestions of what I should do?
Okay.
Scientist is out. I don't have the focus for that. But I've tried that. I tried poetry for a while. That didn't really pan out all that well. Let's see. What else have I tried? Well, I didn't attempt sports, but I think we all know that that's not my forte, if you will. Let's see. Is there anything else? I don't think so. No?
Okay, so someone's been taking control of your body, right?
Yes, that's
How
correct.
do we know we're talking to Oswald right now, then?
Oh, that's a great question. Ask me anything that Oswald would know.
But
Kala will lean forward. How many of your 12 locos have I drank?
Ah, so you were the one who was... I mean, I'm not offended that you were partaking of my 12 loco. It seems that, at least within the past about several... Mike, remind me what the term for a week is. Turn span?
Turn span. Yeah.
Let's see. That seems like you've consumed, within the last turn span, what, a good 20... I'm going to say 28 is my best estimate. I check on my stock fairly regularly.
He's correct about that.
Okay, it's Oswald.
That is a lot, by the way. It's a lot to... They really... Anyways.
Vesnus will raise her hand again.
Yes, business.
How long has this been happening for?
I do not know. I'm assuming since I had the implants installed.
And how long
Which
have
was
you had
before
those?
you met me.
Yeah.
Correct.
Is that the thing that Oswald had implanted at a certain point while we were playing, or was that before?
Yes.
Okay.
No,
It was while
I
we
do
were
not
playing.
recall.
Yeah, that is
Okay.
correct.
It was fairly early on,
before
but
Glypsis, if I'm not mistaken.
That sounds right.
At some point during this conversation, you get a message from Shay that says, stopping at Vorpalbucks, give me your coffee orders. You have 15 minutes.
I believe their food/coffee chain would be called Snicker Snacks, actually.
Snicker Snacks? Okay. That makes more sense.
oh my god.
I'm mad at how good Mike is at coming up with shit sometimes. Like, fuck off.
Just off the dome. Off the cuff. Oh my god. Snicker snacks.
Makes me
Excellent.
mad more than anything. I don't know why.
Well, I'll just get a general, calf or whatever. I don't know. What do people drink in the morning that's not alcoholic?
Juice, water. There's lots of things that are drinkable.
No, but not in the morning. Gotta start your
So-
day right.
Do you not
Yes.
have any access to the archive at all anymore? I mean,
Well, I
obviously
could
there's
go-
I could go on the archive.
Oh, yes.
Hypothetically.
I could still go on the archive. I just choose not to because they piloted my body like a meat puppet. And I'm not okay with that, if I'm going to
Right.
be perfectly honest.
Right. I just meant more in a, is there a way to assess the potentially loads of information they have about our criminal activity?
Well, sure, with a little bit of hacking, I'm sure we can manage. Fortunately,
Right.
we have, several. And I didn't make it official with them, to be perfectly honest. I didn't really feel like, following up with them.
Yeah,
The whole thing made me feel very uncomfortable.
of course.
Vesnus will raise her hand one more time.
Yes, business.
I just want to be very clear about this.
Yes.
You're saying the archive is run by the Kaunas Empire,
That is the impression I got, yes.
and that the information people get from that might be curated by the Kaunas Empire,
That seems to be the impression, yes.
and that they were looking through your eyeballs for a while now.
Not all the time, but at various points. That is true.
I mean, how would you know whether they were or weren't looking?
I wouldn't be conscious, I think.
Do we know that for sure?
I don't know that for sure.
Okay, so we have to assume that they've seen literally everything that you've seen.
But they don't know about Mira. So
As far as we know, they could totally lie about stuff.
Well, it wasn't
Withhold information.
It wasn't that they didn't meant. It's more that they could not see Mira. Mira literally entered. Boy, this is complicated. I had a meeting of sorts with the chief editor of the archive, who was revealed to be some sort of fiend or ghoul of some sort. Something of the undead variety. I'm not really sure.
That's concerning.
It is, yes, yes. And Mira entered the space that we were in. But this individual could not see Mira, though Mira could affect at least my perception of this individual. Very strange. It's how it was revealed that this individual works for the Empire. Mira revealed that to me. Can you back me up, Mira, if you're listening?
I did that several nights ago, Oswald. It was crucial in re-downloading your personality into your body.
Right, that did happen. I hadn't gotten to that point yet, but
Would you like me to back you up again?
We'll talk about this later. Yes. So
everyone flabbergasted at the table.
Wow. I mean, I thought I woke up this morning with a weight lifted off of my shoulders, but now I feel like I could actually fly, which is just terrifying, but exhilarating.
No,
Florian,
like,
yes.
I am real glad for you from getting out under the thumb of a corporation. I think it's more just, this could break real bad. I think we're all just processing this a little bit.
There
yes,
is a lot to process in that.
Well, I haven't fully processed it myself yet. I'm mostly compartmentalizing it for, you know how you section off a part of your consciousness that you just kind of tuck it away for now so you don't have to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably the best way to describe what I have done with everything that I've learned about my experience with the archive.
Mm.
Right.
That is incredibly unhealthy.
I suppose it is.
Now wait a second. Let's hear him out on this strategy.
Strategy?
Sorry, I interrupted.
Oh no. That was the gist of what I wanted to tell everybody. So thank you all for joining me in this very important meeting. If you have any questions about it, you can let me know. But I think I've said everything that I know. And also, if any of you come up with suggestions for what I can do with myself after this, that would be most appreciated. Time is of the essence. Thank you so much. Have a good day. But where's Shay, by the way? Oh, the Snicker snack or whatever. Yeah. Well, let me know when Shay gets here with beverages.
I texted Shay while Oswald was talking, just because.
Oh yeah, Florian definitely. Yeah, like Shay said, coffee orders, and Florian just all the coffee. Was the response?
They don't have that on the menu.
Amari would have gotten something that's almost entirely milk.
That's
cream.
not good for cats.
I'm not
That'll
a cat.
upset your tummy.
I'm a cat man.
But yes, Oswald leaves the room, I guess. I don't know. Because he kind of stands there for a bit and is like, I guess that this is where I leave. And then just kind of wanders out.
Kala slumps down in her chair, and her long muzzled face is just in her hands, covering her eyes. Vesnes exchanges a look with you, Amari, and she says, "So, do we kill him?"
No. Hey. Again, that was my first response in my head, but I immediately quashed that idea because I don't think we benefit in any way from that. Not saying that I'm looking for benefits to keeping my teammate around, but other than his murder's bad.
I could see some benefits.
Okay.
Wanton murder is bad. If murder has purpose, it might not be bad.
Interesting thought experiment there. Okay.
That's just facts.
You are Mr. Soldier Boy. You commit many murders.
You.
And now all I'm thinking, yeah.
Such a horrible.
The intrusive thoughts one.
Yeah. Oh boy. Now I can only think of a Tux doing that dance. Thank you for that. Oh boy. I guess, Vesnes, we're gonna have to come up with something. We should probably wait for Shay to get here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to make breakfast. Anyone else want breakfast?
I would love breakfast. Do you want any help making breakfast?
Take breakfast.
Okay. It's just going to be porridge, but you can help if you want.
Yep. Just give me something to do.
Okay. So, Amari and Vesnes leave and head down to the mess. That just leaves Florian and Kala back up on the bridge.
Florian will put his hand on Kala's shoulder and say, "Listen, I know how that sounded. It wasn't that I wasn't real or potentially not real. It's that I was indisposed. I know that, yeah."
Kala will slowly look up at you and gently take your hand off of her shoulder. And she will say, "I think we both have a lot of questions about what's been going on in the last few days."
Yeah.
She stands up and heads down to the mess as well. Shay, you arrive back at the Tiresian with a couple of trays of coffee and other morning drinks. The orders you got from Amari, Florian, and Oswald were varied and open to interpretation.
Yes. So I have a frappuccino, a fruity latte, very milky, for Amari. They do have a caffeinated smoothie, the Tum Tum smoothie. So I got that for Oswald. I don't know. It's something. And a Borgo.
Did you get the extra?
Borgo, what?
Did you get the extra shot of espresso and extra shot of caffeine in there?
Yes.
Did you remember? Oh, excellent. Thank you.
And Florian, again, all the coffee is not on the menu, but I assumed you just needed it strong. The Borgo roast is the strongest they have, so it's just a big black coffee.
Vesnes asked for whatever it was that Oswald was having, because that sort of drink selection hasn't treated her poorly just yet.
Fair, I guess.
Just yet.
From her perspective. And Kala asked you for something that involves a lot of wheatgrass and protein powder.
Yeah.
God.
The Manzum shot.
Yeah. It read more like a pharmaceutical list than a drink order. But yeah, you come back to the mess and back into the Tiresian to find everyone a little bit out of sorts and with some very odd looks being cast Oswald's way. And you stroll in, chipper as the day is bright, on this beautiful day in sunny Nearend, having strolled onto a military base getting the thumbs up from a couple of guards who saw you leave the night before with the paladin and exchanging an "Ay."
Big winks. I can't do the finger guns because my hands are full.
So yeah, that is what you walk in on. Oswald, I'm assuming you're going to bring Shay up to speed as well?
Yes, I suppose I don't have to do the whole spiel again, but...
Oh, no, whole thing.
Whole
Thing.
Word for word. Well, I
Let's
did
go.
write it
Yeah.
down, so...
Okay.
Oh, if you wrote it down, I'll just read it.
Oh, right. Can you...
Just like skim through the the letter.
I'm going to ask if Shay could
Were
read.
you, I literally was about
Yeah.
to ask the same
Well,
thing.
specifically my handwriting.
Oh,
No,
I was like, what
Shay
the
can read.
fuck? you
Is it
guys?
chicken scratch?
Or is that
It's
two of
something.
those? I think Oswald and I mean, we like were working really close on the decoding of that.
That's true.
Or like the of that information.
That would have been
thing,
mostly like typed.
But I'm I'm the thought I just had is it's hard. It might be hard for him to type quickly because of his fingers and his hand layout. So I think that that Shay probably like made a little program so that he could like write with his claw and it would translate. So I did have to be able to read his handwriting to make that code.
Excellent. It's canon. Love it.
Yeah.
Sure. All right, so yeah, Shay, any follow-up questions to Oswald's revelations?
Or suggestions for career potential paths?
Being a spy.
I mean, you know, the thing about it is, you like were really good at investigating, so I don't see why you have to give that part of it up. I mean, I could help you start a blog. You could have like your own, like, investigative journalist blog.
Well, I think you're
Have to
right.
be for the archive.
I don't have to throw out the chick with the bath with. I don't know what the metaphor is I'm looking for here.
Don't have to throw
The
the eggs
Chick
out
with
of
the
nest.
eggshells?
the eggs out with the nest. Yes, thank you. You're right. I don't need the archive to be an investigator and to bring knowledge to the citizens of Dragonswake. I could still do that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just have to break some pretty big news. That's all.
And we do that like all the time. Our hit
It's
rate
true.
for discovering and revealing big news is statistically absurd.
Right. Yes. I've had to remain anonymous so far, and I probably will still have to. But we don't want to bring any more undue attention towards us. But
You
yes.
could just call yourself the third.
Ooh. And then fingers crossed.
Yeah, dream big.
Like, yeah, maybe two. Who knows?
Take
who
what you
knows?
want. Believe in
Yes,
yourself.
Yes, I could do it. I could. My sibling just posts videos of themselves watching things. I think. I don't know. I haven't really looked into it. It makes me uncomfortable.
Oh,
But
she
yes.
does. She also does unboxing videos.
Yeah.
Those are real cool.
Yes,
And
those were a
and makeup
real fad for a
tutorials,
while.
It's really rather impressive seeing as, the feathers, but damn, she's really
Right.
good.
Yes, I hear that a lot. Yes, very, very impressive.
Okay, so that was productive. What
Oh,
else would
great!
you
Yes.
say? Slurp.
Well, I've got
Great
something
question.
fun that we can go do. Who wants to go to an interrogation?
Ooh. Wait, who are we
Oz.
interrogating?
One of the two captives.
Ah, yes. One of the mercenaries. Yes,
Mm,
I would
yeah.
love to join and maybe document the process and
Sure.
see what kind of information we can get out of them. Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
Okay. You sure you want to go hang out with people who are not entirely thrilled that you're on their planet?
Why would they not be thrilled that I'm on their planet?
Oh yeah, can Oswald leave the ship yet, or are we still sort of dicey on that one?
Don't know.
We could.
I'm just saying, I've been stuck
him
on
in
this
a
ship
big
for quite a
jacket.
while. I'd
So
like to
I
stretch
guess this would
my
be a
little legs.
question for Mike then. Have we sold our story to like the other houses, the other prides that Layla helped create. Have we done that yet in the span of several days? The like official report that Oswald was acting as a member or an asset of Pride Rakasa.
Officially, right now, you are all assets of Pride Rakasa.
Okay, I just didn't know.
That is the official hegemony line.
Great, cool, awesome. Who? I was gonna say who has the captives, but given that that Amari got the email from Pride Rakasa, I would assume we're still holding them.
As far as you know, they are on the military base that the Tiresians currently parked at.
Okay.
They were being kept in the brig here. You are on a decently large military complex on the outskirts of Neria City. This is a hegemony military base, so Pride Neria is technically in charge here, but the military here answers to the Geminus of this world and the Council of Pride Mothers specifically. So it's not like these world soldiers. This belongs to the larger government of the hegemony. Okay. So the prisoner here doesn't belong to any one pride.
Okay.
And your access to that prisoner is contingent on the fact that you were invited there by the matriarch of Pride Rakasa, your wife.
Okay. Well, in that case...
Yeah, that notification would have given you instructions on where to go and when to be there.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that if that story that Layla had, crafted had not been given out to the masses, those, like, the other houses that are looking for Oswald to pay for his the implications, I didn't want to be like, hey, come hang out at this thing. But given that we've said that.
Yeah, I mean, so the bounty that is on all of your heads is being posted by the Aegis Tech Solutions, the company. Anyone can trade on that bounty, but certain powers now are in your corner that refute the legitimacy of that because you were working for them. It could be presumed that while you are on a hegemony world, you have a certain amount of safety because you have that larger entity's backing. Now, could a crack team of mercenaries swoop in and try to collect on that bounty, stealing it out from underneath the protective noses of the hegemony? They have tried twice, actually.
Yeah.
They didn't. And that was also before you were technically under the auspices of Pride Rakasa.
Right.
Now, that would have some much larger ramifications if they tried that.
Is that bounty worth?
That's not to say that nobody will try. It just means that, like, when you're in hegemony territory, you're probably a lot safer than you would be anywhere else in the galaxy.
Might as well wait.
Let's never leave.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Totally an option.
Florian.
But in terms of, how far you have to go, it's walking distance.
No, I was just going to ask out of character, because the prisoner is technically hegemony, like under hegemony control. Is this just like, are we going to witness this interrogation, or are they actually going to give Amari like the ability to talk to this dude?
You're not entirely sure. The invitation was not to participate in the interrogation. It was to observe, but Amari is Amari, and
he's a war
who's to
hero.
say what Amari leverages his reputation to do?
Yeah.
He's not just a war hero. He's Layla Rakam.
My wife.
More importantly. Okay.
That is what I called my specialization. It was just the other ones didn't fit. It was boiling over into knowledge and heavy weapons, and I couldn't justify those.
I mean, one could argue your wife is a heavy weapon as well, but...
Yes. This is true.
So yeah, that is entirely up to Amari, I think, of whether or not he wants to participate.
I am going to go. Is anyone else wanting to go?
I mean, sounds like Oswald is. I'd say we should probably all go, but the last time we left the ship, people did try to break into it.
Yeah, actually, I kind of wanted to see about at least doing some, surveying work with trying to convert one of our empty rooms to a larger isolation chamber for any potential space travel we may do. It might not be for a while, but it seems like it's going to be a big project, so I'd like to get started as soon as possible.
No, I think that is a great idea.
I can help with that.
Yes. I'm definitely going to need to start with some demos, so I'm going to need some help moving some heavy things.
Right, so, Amari, I guess it's just you and me.
Kala would also like to come,
I guess it's just you, me, and Kala.
but Vesnes does not volunteer.
That
Sounds fine.
Unless,
not to say.
I guess, Vesnes would ask you, Amari, what does the hegemony think of the cog?
Ooh, great question.
I feel like we went over this previously, and they have the same sort of immediate stance, at least like public facing policies towards the cog that everyone else seems to have.
Yeah.
At least on the larger
Officially,
scale.
they're under quarantine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But other than that, I do not know. Reed doesn't know.
So I guess Vesnes' question then would become, would you stick your neck out for me if I leave this ship?
Part of the ship, part of the crew, part of the ship, part of the crew. Yeah. Would you mind staying
Not
with
gonna
us
lie.
the entire?
I would absolutely love to see the inside of a hegemony military base.
Mm-hmm.
How big do Vesnes' eyes get at that?
Her eyes are always pretty big, relatively speaking. Cogrish eyes are a lot bigger, just in terms of ratio, than a lot of other species. But there is definitely kind of a... You've seen that look in her eyes before of just like, you don't know exactly what it is she's after still, besides revenge and a casual wanton love of destruction.
Okay. I mean, let me get back to you on that.
Okay.
I wouldn't. I want you to go, but
And I want to go.
right. I was just gonna say, can I run it by my wife really quick?
You absolutely can.
Perfect.
You
Thank you.
should.
I'm
For
going
protocol.
to. Yeah. It's hey. So yeah.
You message your wife and ask if can I
Yeah.
bring my Cogrish friend?
Maybe not in that specific language, but you know.
Then what is the language? Because you need to be pretty explicit that you're bringing a cog with you if you want to get
no,
away with
I'm
this.
not gonna say like, hey, can I bring my friend? It's like, hey, there's a member of the team that would like access or like would like to accompany me during the interrogation. Their Cogrish, is that going to be an issue?
And your wife would come back and say, yes, it is a pretty big issue.
Okay,
Is it an issue you want to press?
not really.
Sorry, guys. My wife said no.
My wife said no.
We're all alive because of my wife right
No,
now.
I know.
I was almost dead because of your wife.
This is also true.
It's one of those things where you know that at this point, she is just starting to build her political capital.
Mhm.
Do you want to spend some of that now on insisting that a possible agent of the cog be present for this?
Not really. Not really.
Okay, then that is a line that Amari is not willing to cross. And Vesnes will remember this.
Sorry, Vesnes. Don't
I'll
want to
pull
blow things up
Vesnes
so much.
aside and be like, I can, if you need to find something or look for something, I can, well, I'm all about sticking my nose in places. Is there something in particular you're looking for?
Oh, any stolen Cogrish technology or stolen secrets from my people that may have been recovered after the Deep War that the hegemony is hiding from the public, anything like that.
I will keep my ears and eyes open.
I would appreciate that. Thank you, Oswald.
Of course. All right, Amari, I'm ready to go.
No, I think I'll go alone, actually.
Oh, well, that's weird
No,
to
no.
pose that to everyone and then just...
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well.
All right, so Oswald, Amari, and Kala leave. Behind on the Tiresian leaves us Florian and Shay and Vesnes. As soon as you leave the ship, Amari, you notice Kala wincing slightly underneath the glare of the sun. It seems as though she hasn't gotten any natural light in a bit.
I hand her my sunglasses.
And she would have her own, actually. She has
Oh,
a
man.
pair of glasses.
Are Amari's sunglasses Top Gun aviators? Because he's a pilot.
Yeah. Of course.
Would Amari's sunglasses fit on Kala's head?
Not well, but leastways, she is cleaned up and changed clothing. She's not in the same kind of depression funk that she's been in when she had her interactions with Florian. But as soon as she is off the ship, she will turn to you, Oswald. Once you're like a few strides away, and say, "You had her create a backup of you."
Yes. The procedure we did was very dangerous. I would not be standing here if not for Mera's work.
But she put a copy of you back into you.
I suppose so.
So if there was another engram of someone without a body, that's a thing that can happen?
Well, I suppose it is. It's not my area of expertise, but it seems like Mera knows how to do it.
Kala will glance over her shoulder while you're continuing to walk, staring back at the ship. You're both aware of how pointedly she didn't bring this up while you were aboard the Tiresian.
Of course.
She waited until you were away from that ship, and Mera's ears, presumably. But she gets into a deep contemplative silence after that, following the two of you. Back on the Tiresian, Shay and Florian start looking into what it would take to convert one of the spare rooms into an isolation chamber.
Yes. It doesn't need to be fancy. Like, it doesn't need to have any navigational, like, accoutrement. Like, it's literally a very Spartan isolation chamber.
Okay, then. The simplest way to do that is to line the room in lead. It has to be refined. It can't have any etheric impurities in it, which happens in a lot of metals in this galaxy. And most of the time people don't worry about it, because if metal has little flakes of aethium or aethite, that usually just helps machines work. But you need just pure lead lining for the room, and that would cut off everything.
Is that because ships are so prevalent in this universe? Is that something that like every planet is going to have some access to, or is it like a we have to go somewhere special to get it?
That is not how most isolation chambers are made. That is just the quickest, dirtiest way you could get it done. How, like, navigation chambers are made, because they have to allow for navigation access as well, they are made with carefully crafted aethium alloys, which are basically attuned to reflect etheric energy signatures. It's basically directing everything outward, as opposed to allowing... I could get into the metaphysics of magic here, but it's just like, it's stopping the energy pattern from coming in at all points. And stopping any of your energy from escaping as well.
So I guess because that's the way that most... Like, is that easier to access, say, on Nerend? Because that's how, like, isolation chambers are made? Or are we going to have to go somewhere else for it anyway? So we might as well go with the...
Neria is a big enough metropolis that you have access to any of this. It's just a matter of how much money you're willing to spend and how much attention you're willing to draw. Because building a large isolation chamber for a ship on a military base is going to raise some eyebrows from the people who you're building it in front of. Ordering a bunch of lead is also going to raise some eyebrows. Like, any of this is going to raise some questions if you do it here.
Right. If we requisitioned the material through Layla, would that cause higher eyebrows, or...
The eyebrows would still be there. The people doing it would just know not to ask any questions about it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Better for us, but maybe not better for her.
Yeah.
And those people might report to other individuals that, hey, Layla Rarakasa had this built for whatever reason. Because people are now reporting on her movements because she is more important.
God, these are school ass shit.
Welcome to the politics part of the campaign. The short and long of it is, you can get this done here if you want to. It, depending on how you go about it, it will tip off or alert different people based on how you're approaching this. The ramifications of that, you don't know. The cost-benefit analysis is that if you don't have one of these things, Florian might go all monster mode again.
Yeah. And frankly, I actually said this today at work. I don't know the cost-benefit analysis. I'm not an accountant. Let's just get it done.
Okay. So your choices are cheap or expensive.
Olivia, since you are the keeper of the funds, how much
We have
money do
plenty
we
of
have?
money left. We could probably do either.
Okay. Again, like, I don't think that it needs to be... It doesn't need to have navigation capabilities. I think it can just be a lead-lined room.
Okay.
If we want to get fancier about it later, then we can do that. But for now...
I don't disagree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And keep in mind, you have a lead-lined room that also comes with all of the dangers of a shitload of lead. Don't lick the walls, maybe.
Yeah,
wasn't
Florian,
planning
whatever
on
you
doing.
do, don't lick the walls.
But
Oh,
But hang
damn,
on,
the
hang on,
first
hang
thing
on.
I was gonna do.
what happens if we put lead inside Florian?
That's not good.
He'll die.
Or
Yeah.
I'll go.
You're not here
I'll
for
go-
that, but...
Yeah.
We could
I'll
somehow get
go-
the ultraviolet inside of people.
Mhm,
Could that work
mhm.
somehow?
Yeah. Exactly. Mhm.
Well, if you put the lead inside Florian, Florian goes mad, but in a like normal on the ground
Different,
way,
yeah.
not a space way.
So the lesser of two space evils.
All right, so you get that Kraken. It will take a couple of days to requisition materials. And are you doing it yourselves, or are you ordering contractors to do this for you?
we still have stolen stuff in this ship, so Florian and I can DIY this.
DIY lead room that is, then.
Mm.
So,
Trading
just to
frickin'
reiterate the
like-
details of this ship modification, we are creating a lead-lined room ourselves in the ship using materials that you're requisitioning while on a military base in Nearend.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay. Check, check, and check.
like conspiracy theorists lining their rooms with tinfoil.
Mm.
Just as
Absolutely.
effective.
There are two ways you can go about this. There is either the literally ordering sheets of lead and pounding them into place inside of this room, or there is really thickly applied lead-based paint.
I think that my instinct is sheets of metal, because otherwise we have to have documentation on board about like dust and like chipping, and fucking Vesnus might get pica, we don't know.
Okay. All right. So that whole process is beginning to occur.
Perfect.
And how much does that cost, Mike? Just for my accounting.
The bill is put to where the lead is concerned. Layla takes care of that.
Oh, hell yeah!
Nice. Wow, we didn't even have to ask her to
Free
to do her own
99.
cost-benefit analysis of that.
You are agents of House Rakasa. Anything you requisition while here is done in the name of Pride Rakasa.
Oh, I
It's
can't just
time
order
to
it myself?
Upgrade some shit. Let's go.
Oh, I mean, you could do that. I wasn't
Just keep
sure.
the receipt.
Yeah.
We'll invoice my wife later.
Yeah, when she's got a little
Okay,
more,
if-
when she's got a little more capital to spend and a little
Yeah.
less, little less having to worry about looking behind her back, we'll give her the invoice.
Okay. In that case, it will cost you, let's say, 4,000 jewels to get enough lead to coat this room.
We're gonna put something over the lead, or are people just gonna be standing in a room full of lead?
Keep in mind, this has to cover all four walls, the ceiling, and
Oh, yeah.
the floor, or else
Oh yeah,
you lose all point to it.
yeah.
What about the door?
That's the tricky bit.
Yes, that's going to be the trickiest bit.
Essentially, what you have to do is have the door open and close by itself, but then, like, stick a looser sheet of lead over the aperture of the door.
Yeah.
And find a way to fix it in place with, like, hinges and bolts. Meanwhile, in the base, Amari, Oswald, and Kala find their way into the lower levels of this place in an area that is pretty clearly a minor prison. It's not quite a full prison complex, but there are holding cells down here, and there are interrogation rooms. You pass by the just general brig, which is like if soldiers on base get drunk and have to get thrown into the drunk tank for a night, or if someone gets arrested on base and they have to hold them until the city authorities show up. That is not where you go. You go downstairs past at least 2 doors that say authorized personnel only.
Okay.
You are met by Layla Rarakasa as you enter the second door that says authorized personnel only. At every step, you've been waved through by armed security guards. When you entered the base, when you got into the brig area, when you went through that first door, when you went through that second door, and it is once you get past that second door that you stop seeing armed security insofar as people with guns and start seeing armed security in terms of paladins with crystalline swords, which to the layman would probably be a downgrade, but to those who know their shit, you know that those guys with swords are way more dangerous, just etherically speaking, because
Very
they know what they're
dangerous at
doing
close
with their power.
distances.
They're dangerous at close distances, they're dangerous at far distances, and they are capable of blocking bolts of aether with those blades and bouncing them back at people.
Natural sprinters.
You are led to a section that is clearly a morgue.
Interesting.
And Layla says, "You read the note, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you want to see. I was just told."
I mean, I have a pretty good idea of what it's going to look like. I don't know if anyone else needs to see or wants to see it. So
Kala shakes her head. "I don't even know what we're seeing."
probably better that way.
Oswald?
Oh, sorry, what were we talking about?
Good.
Layla will give you a look. We're talking about one of the prisoners who died.
Oh, yes. Yes, I would like to see that.
Okay. And one of the soldiers who is accompanying you and kind of leading you through this will nod and open the door for you, Oswald, and show you into the morgue.
Oh, just me. Oh, all right.
I mean, if Oswald's going in, I will also go in, not leaving Oswald alone after he said he's been taken over by some other entity.
I mean, it's all in the past now.
Kala and your wife stay outside the room then, and Kala begins introducing herself to Layla. As you enter, the soldier leads you over to a slab with a sheet over it, covering what you're almost certain is a body.
Oh, boy. All right.
The soldier will touch a panel on the table, and it will hover slightly lower so that it is now chest height with Oswald.
Oh, thank you.
And then a doctor will come in. It's another lean man in a white lab coat. He's pulling gloves on and sticking caps on his claws and saying, "Prefect, good to see you.
How are you, Doctor?"
Nasty stuff."
Yeah, was dealt with some pretty grievous injuries, and apparently they succumbed to it.
"Is that what it was?" "Oh,
I mean,
I assumed..." Okay. When you say grievous injuries, were you there when this...
well,
Did he fall into the engine of your ship, or was there a reactor leak?
I'm not entirely sure exactly. It looked like they were out cold.
Looked like they were all in one piece.
Yeah.
Oh, they're still in one piece. It's just...
Oh, okay.
Acute aether poisoning like this usually...
Oh.
Huh. That's interesting.
So that was cause of death? Acute aether poisoning?
As far as we can tell, honestly, I think we're rather lucky that this hasn't resulted in some kind of meat elemental, because there was a rapid expansion and decay of the aether in this man's body.
Have you ever seen anything like this before?
Like I said, the closest thing I can ascribe it to is acute aether poisoning. I've seen something similar on reactor workers when a reactor has gone critical and an elemental was spawned and their bodies were, well, what was left of their bodies was all but drained of aether. The elemental absorbed it into its mass.
Right, yes. Where was this?
Oh, this was years ago, when I was still just out of med school. I was a doctor at a small city south of here.
Fascinating. Oswald's taking notes, I guess.
The doctor will grab the cloth and go, well, I guess this is why you're here. And he'll pull it back, and you see what's left of the Midrian man that 2 days ago looked not healthy, but definitely not the blackened husk you now see on the table in front of you.
He's been raisined.
It's not shriveled.
No, it's not shriveled. There's no dehydration here. There's no mummification. It just, there is a crispiness, like a darkened briquette nature to the skin and the face, and the lips have definitely like shrunk back a little bit to reveal just like a rictus of teeth, and the eyes are probably the most disturbing part, in that they are just a pure sheen of green, almost like jade that is embedded in this person's skull.
Oh, fascinating. Did you examine the ocular
That is a
affliction?
part I can't explain. I've never seen anything like that.
Does it just appear to be stone, or is it?
As far as we can tell, it's a total calcification of the eyeballs, yes.
Fascinating.
I haven't had time to do a proper radiological examination or contact any of my geologist friends. I'm not entirely sure. Like I said, I've never seen anything like this precisely. How did you say this person was attacked?
There were some vehicles had been moved around, may have been crushed by moving debris, some crates inside.
Perhaps a chemical spill. A lot.
There was a significant amount of 4 loco or 12 loco in the hold. Perhaps that's some sort of reaction.
12 loco has never done anything. Like, doesn't matter.
We've heard stories of 12 Loco doing terrible things to sapient bodies, but nothing like this. Usually
Nothing
that involves more liquefaction than what happened here.
Mm-hmm. Just have to say, allegedly, it's not been well documented. Anyways, sorry, continue.
Look to you, Amari. Did you bring a Vorpal Corp lawyer here? What is this?
No, just he's just a big fan of their
Not a
product.
lawyer.
Definitely not a lawyer. Those all sound like things that someone who is a lawyer would say.
I suppose so.
Is there any other questions you have about the body prefect?
Oh, man. Reed, having seen too many zombie movies and this thing looking freaky, is so worried about this thing. Just like, can we just double tap it now, please? Please. But that's so not cool.
This might be... Have you thought about maybe removing the eyes? I'm curious as to how much of them has been calcified.
That was definitely on the to-do list eventually once we get to a full autopsy.
All right. Have you, I assume, obviously, aether poisoning was the cause. Does the body give off a radiation at all? Are we...
Oh no, it is completely inert at this point.
Oh, okay.
Etheric decay would have transpired regardless. Within usually 24 to 48 hours, most bodies are devoid of any remaining aether. Unless there's an extremely high aethite or aethium content in some kind of prosthetic in their body, but...
Is there any form of containment? Given that we don't really know what this is, should we be locking this down more so than a normal.
Is that something you think we should be doing, Prefect?
In this instance, we don't really know what this is. So
As of right now, we've just been keeping the body on cold storage as per regular protocols, but if you think we need something a bit more secure, that can be arranged.
Well, something with lead, I think, would be appropriate.
Very well. Containment protocols it is.
Mike, is there the eyes themselves? Are they giving off like obviously the rest of the body is not necessarily giving off any etherics, but the eyes, have they turned can I tell if they've turned into emerald aethite?
How big is your aether pool?
It is 6.
They seem glassy and, like I said, calcified and mineral-like, but they don't look crystalline.
Okay.
And
Like I said, jade, I think, is
Jade.
closer than emerald.
yeah.
Like, there's
Now-
no opacity to them.
Okay.
And just because I want to cover all the bases, the Vandrox disease of the cog does what specifically?
It calcifies cartilage in people's bodies. It
Okay.
turns it into crystal
Okay.
in a way that is a little bit like arthritis, but way more painful and a little bit more explosive in its finale.
Okay. So So this doesn't seem anything like that. Okay. Cool. Perfect.
I should also mention, Doctor, it is possible that this individual may have been exposed to the void. Perhaps that has something to do with, well, what we are looking at here.
Oh, fascinating. That wasn't in any of the reports.
Well, we're
but
not
I will look
necessarily
into it.
sure it was anything on our end. Perhaps their security systems on their own ship, their own transport, were lacking.
Could have been, yes.
I suppose that's always a possibility. I will look into that. I wouldn't consider myself an expert on void physics, but I'm sure I can find some reference guides.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Of course. And he'll pull the sheet back over.
Don't look for those reference guides on the archive.
You exit the room, and Layla and Kala are waiting for you. The soldier who's been leading you the whole time will continue to lead you down through this area, and it is, I would say, suspicious to maybe only Oswald and Kala as to why there would be a morgue pretty close to an area where you would keep prisoners.
I mean,
For war crime
The
purposes.
logic behind that, is pretty dark. But you are led past yet another secure door. This one is flanked by guards, paladins. And just beyond it, you find yourself in a pretty sterile hallway that is well lit. And there are unmarked rooms on either side of the hallway. 4 doors in total. One to your left is open, and the door just past that one, also on the left, is closed. But there is another guard at that open door, gesturing you to come inside.
I say we go on in.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Moving in, you find yourselves in the company of not only the 2 soldiers who have been guarding you, though those 2 quickly exit this room and stand outside. As the door closes, it is just the 3 of you, a soldier you do not recognize, and the Geminess, who you haven't seen in a few days. Sesru Raniria is here herself. She is busily tapping away on a data pad as you come in, but she will glance up and nod briefly at Layla as you enter. The soldier who is with her, you don't recognize him. You've never seen him before. He's not armed. He is a tall, leopard-looking individual with dark fur and these, like, really bright white and black eyes. It's all white except for the black pupils that contract and dilate depending on the light.
cool.
The Geminess will introduce him as Venril. Venril Sa Rakasa. Or not Rakasa. Sorry. Confusing. Neria.
It's about to be like, who is this asshole?
I was gonna
No,
say.
yeah.
Oh, the
Yeah,
new
I was like-
husband is here
Venril
already.
Soneria. Nope,
Oh, wow.
no. I'm
That was quick.
so many names I have to keep track of. But Venril will nod to you, specifically Amari, and then bow to your wife.
It's fine. I'm super okay with that. Not sarcastic.
And he will point towards the wall to your right as you enter, and you can see that it is a large one-way mirror, and you are looking into the room next to the one you're in now.
Okay.
Inside, you see a broad-ish table with several chairs to either side, though the chairs farthest from you seem to be bolted to the ground. There is a bar on that side of the table in which several cuffs are bound with what looks like strong etheric magnets, so that the person who is tied up on the other side of the table cannot move his hands off of the table. It is a thick stump of a Midrian that you recognize as the mech pilot, who clawed his way out of his own mech in the cargo hold of the Teresian. The soldier, whose name is Venril, will turn towards Layla and the rest of you, and seemingly taking the lead in this, even though the Geminus is sitting here, she seems distracted by notifications that keep coming in on her personal datapad. Venril will say, "The man we have here, we've identified as Prontus Macius. He is a former Imperial Legionnaire, though according to official records, he retired shortly after the Shattering. As far as we can tell, he was a weapons expert, specifically in mech pilot. We think he also qualified for war mage status, but never actually accepted their invitation into their ranks. We can confirm that he was a participant in the final battle on Minos. His squad was apparently there and took place in the battle within the city when the Golden Ziggurat was destroyed. Beyond that, we know very little about this man. We know he was raised on a small out-of-the-way world called Namsil, and we know that he has several connections to high houses, including a more recent addition to the ranks of the Senate Major, House Farside, and was apparently in a battalion with one of their minor lords, one Julian Farside. Other than that, he has not spoken since we've taken him in.
Do either of those house names mean anything to me just off the top of my head?
Off the top of your head, you would know that they are both extremely young when it comes to houses in the Imperium.
What was the
name?
name?
Farside is tickling the back of your head somehow.
Olivia's over there, like bopping her head, and like, yeah, was that not?
You don't
yeah,
remember having
I
a
do.
conversation
Yes,
about war?
I do. Yes, I do. I'm just like, I'll get to it. No, I definitely don't remember. No, the individual I had a conversation with in the Blue Giant, his name was Julian, who was also present on Minos during the Shattering. So.
Yes, indeed. So you're fairly certain this person might be a former squad mate of that person.
Okay.
At least according to the information that the hegemony has. We were about to proceed. We were simply waiting for your arrival.
Well, it's interesting, his history. I've met some of what potentially could have been his own squad, so...
Is that right? And Layla will definitely shoot a look at you. Just of surprise, mostly.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything I would know about given the potential interrogation methods that they're about to employ for this, since there is a morgue nearby? How dark is this normally?
It depends on how cooperative the prisoner is and who they think this person is.
Okay.
If this was just some no-name mercenary, it probably wouldn't have gotten this far. But since this is an ex-Imperial Legionnaire, and the plot that your wife has claimed exists is one of Imperial subterfuge. They're treating this incredibly seriously. This person will probably never see the light of day, regardless of what happens here today. If left to run its course, Prontis Macius will cease to exist.
Okay.
That is what Amari could easily put together with all of this information.
Yeah. Okay. Great. In that case, I don't want to ask for leniency because I can't really do that because we've dug ourselves into a big old lie here. But
Weird.
yeah, it happens sometimes like that. I don't know. It's weird. But yeah.
Well, you may proceed whenever you feel ready.
Venril will nod and exit the room. Layla will go to sit next to the Geminus at the kind of bench that is just in front of the mirror here, and there is another couple of chairs behind the two of them that seem to be left empty for you. What follows is a series of intense questions that are met with silence. The Midrian individual in the room seems to have no intention of speaking with any hegemony representative that arrives to speak with him. It starts with Venril Sauniria. He asks simple, pointed questions. The person's name, where they're from, what they were doing here, things to establish baselines. All of them are met with total silence. Once the questions start, the Geminus puts aside her datapad and is focusing on what's happening here. She watches with intent and with a studiousness and concentration that reminds you of Shay when they are doing wizard stuff.
Cool.
There's clearly some etheric monitoring that is happening here as well. Once those questions run their course, and the Midrian man in this box continues to stare silently at his questioner, they will begin saying facts about the man, simply stating what they know about him. That also does not elicit any reaction. When those words run their course, there is a beat, and then Venril will say, "This becomes a lot more difficult if you don't cooperate," and there is no response. What follows after that is a second round of all of the same. The only difference is that another person enters the room with Venril. It's just another soldier as far as you can tell. They're dressed in normal soldiering attire, a uniform, but they are unarmed except for a long length of gemstone that they hold like a wand or a rod. It is amethyst aethite. And you know that amethyst aethite is used to mess with people's brains.
Seeing that, would look at like Layla and the Geminus and ask if is this really necessary?
Layla will not look back at you pointedly, and the Geminus will turn and ask, "Don't we want to get to the bottom of this conspiracy of yours, Prefect Rakasa?"
Well, of course. Have you tried any other methods other than just asking questions?
That's what we were about to start.
Not quite as grotesque.
And she will eye you carefully and then ask, "What did you have in mind?"
Have you given him a good meal? Let him shower? Anything like that?
You propose the carrot before the stick.
I do.
She will turn and look to Layla, who will finally turn her head and look at the Geminus. And Layla will say, "I may be new to a lot of this, but if there's one thing I trust, it is Amari Kelrakasa's opinion on how to treat a soldier."
We don't high five, but I emotionally I want to high five.
The Geminus will nod and lift a hand and touch a panel just beneath the window in front of you and say, "Hold, Venril. Venril will turn and look over his shoulder through the mirror, and he will get up, and the other Leon that are inside the room will leave, leaving the mech pilot by himself. And the Geminus will turn and look to you, Amari, and ask, "And when that doesn't work?"
I know who to call then.
"So what is our next course of action?"
Well, he's a mech pilot. I could talk to him. Maybe some common ground might do us a bit of good.
"Right now or after a meal and a shower?"
After.
"Very well." And she will get up and leave the room, leaving the door open behind her, but she will have a swift, quiet conversation with Venril before she leaves, seemingly having no time to sit around while this guy has a meal and a shower. The prisoner is eventually let out, and you are left to your own devices in this place, presumably while this man is watered and fed and reclothed. In that time, Layla turns to you when you're pretty sure you're alone in this interrogation room. There are some soldiers outside still standing guard, but other than that, you're by yourselves. And she says quietly, "Do you think this will actually work, or do you just feel bad for this man?"
A bit of both.
"Okay. If we're going to sell this, we need to sell it.
Mm-hmm. Which means we need to get him on our side.
And you think you can do that?"
Could certainly try. That's all I've got.
"I trust you."
I'll make it work.
"All right." As you wait for the prisoner to return, Oswald, you are sitting next to Kala in this interrogation room next door, this observation room.
Yep.
Kala begins kind of grilling you about your perception of reality.
Yes.
She wants to know if there are any differences between how you felt before and how you feel now.
Yes, there was, I don't know, when I woke up this morning, it was as if a tremendous weight had been lifted off of my shoulders. And I didn't crave 12 Loco for the first time in a long time. I can't quite place a finger on exactly what the source of that is, but yes, it was strange. It was notable. I still remember the feeling. I still feel good. Well.
Back on the Tiresian, you've assembled this plan to create a new isolation chamber. It'll take a couple of days to get the materials that you need. The proper sizes needed to have been selected, and those sheets need to be cut and shipped to you. And so you know you've got at least a couple more days here before you can get those materials together, let alone put together the isolation chambers by yourselves. The flood of attention that you are getting, Shay, is starting to become... I don't know. What is Shay's take on suddenly being very, very popular in a certain subculture? And maybe you're just experiencing your 15 minutes of fame, but so far it hasn't stopped.
I think that before we started this project, I think that Shay improve their security, definitely. And maybe set up some block filters for the kind of inherently death-ready ones.
Of which there are some.
Yeah, you gotta take care of your
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. My instinct is just that if they're working on this project, so they don't have time to deal with all of that, so they probably just turned notification, improved the security, set up some block filters, and then just sort of left it for a while.
Okay. So when the notification goes off, regardless of your settings, you're taken a little bit by surprise.
Yes.
The notification has no subject line. It is a message sent to you to your personal call set, not your Foxy Proxy inbox, as it were.
My Foxy Proxy inboxy.
Your Foxy Proxy inboxy.
All right. Elliot won the episode. They win.
And what it is an invitation to a MetaNet chat room that can only be accessed by metadiving.
Fuck yes.
There is no time on this invitation. There is no mark as to who sent it or what this invitation is about. It is just a link to this room in the metanet that one can only experience when you have fully submersed yourself in those digital waters. And with that in your possession, with Amari waiting to have a conversation with a man not too much unlike himself, but on the opposite side of a war, with Florian now contemplating the fact that there are serious steps now being taken to confront something you're still having trouble believing about yourself. Major modifications are happening to the Tiresian to account for these changes in Florian.
Really need to show Florian that video.
The question becomes, if I Aether Leech in the lead box, does it still keep the void? No, that's a problem for another day.
We are not putting things in the lead room that have aether in them, by the way.
Oswald, as you're contemplating this newfound freedom, this agency that you've now taken, you're not working for anybody, you're working for yourself. Now what that means, start your own website.
Archive 2.
I'm not going to call it the archive, we're going to call it the book vault.
Yeah, we'll workshop it.
As you all contemplate those facts, as new prospects for the future have opened to Kala, as confirmations on societal biases have been reinforced with Vesnus, as Mera idles away the time inside the ship systems, the mission now seems to be to gather what resources you can on Nearend, and then leave safely. Those resources include a lead-lined isolation chamber, the life of Prontus Macius, and, presumably, accepting an invitation that has been handed with no RSVP or signature involved. But to answer those calls, we will have to wait until next time. Because as always, you can find us online at MatcomRPG on Twitter and Instagram. You can also email us at materialcomponentsrpg@gmail.com. We always love hearing from all of our listeners.
You can find me on Twitter at CryOutOlivia. I am always there talking about D&D and other RPGs and also just a lot of other nerd stuff. So come hang out.
You can find me on Twitter at Elliot C. Lewis. I'm an illustrator and graphic designer, doing a lot of tabletop RPG and other fan art. You can also support me on Patreon and Ko-fi. Links to both of those are in my Twitter profile.
You can find me at The Readamus on Instagram and Twitter, where I post jokes and lots of photos of nature, so come check it out.
And you cannot find me on social media, but what you can do is support our show by rating and reviewing it on whatever platform you're listening to it on. Please, please, please do so.
Indeed, and finally, you can find me personally on Twitter and Instagram at MKGorgoni, where I'm always happy to talk about all things material components. But as always, the world is chaos, so please, be kind to each other. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.